For the Record is brought to you by Vamped Motors, the only authorized Ford and Toyota dealership serving the Cayman Islands. Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury.
Also brought to you by Ropers Enterprises, 122 Industrial Way. Products and services for better public health. Green Turtle. Take a ride on the Green Turtle Express today. Download the Green Turtle app, the future of mobile, saving lives today. The Ministry of Commerce, Planning and Infrastructure, and by West Bay Pharmacy, taking care of your health.
This is For the Record with Ort Connor.
Coming to you live from Radio Cayman Studio.
For the Record.
For the Record. For the Record.
Hear from your government officials, independents, and the opposition on issues that matter to you.
For the Record.
Engage in an open dialogue between residents and lawmakers.
For the Record.
For the Record. For the Record.
Informative, impartial, insightful.
This is your talk show.
1-800-534-8255. Your calls, your input. This is For the Record. And now, your host, Ort Connor.
Good morning, and welcome to For the Record, O land of soft, fresh breezes and verdant trees so fair. Today is February the 5th. I almost said 1951. 2021. I hope and I trust that everyone had a restful, peaceful, enjoyable evening. Those of you who are on the roads of the Cayman Islands, again, we urge you to please be extremely cautious. Ensure that you observe the rules of the road, whether you're a pedestrian, whether you're a cyclist, or if you're operating any type of motorized vehicle on the roads. If you follow the rules of the road, then the life you save may just be your own. For those of you who are celebrating a birthday today, we want to wish you a happy birthday. Those persons include former MLA, Mr. Ralston Anglin, Mr. Robert Powell, celebrating a birthday today as well, and I'm sure there are more. If you know others, send me a WhatsApp message, and you'll get those numbers, the number for the WhatsApp message soon as well. For those of you who have lost loved ones, we want to extend our sincere condolences to you, and we hope and we trust that your faith will help to carry you through these very challenging times, and that the memory of your loved ones will also help to sustain you as well. So, folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman, and by extension For the Record, into your homes, into your vehicles, as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, wherever that may be. As you know, For the Record is a show produced by the staff and management of Radio Cayman, and it is geared towards keeping you abreast of issues as they arise and play out on the local, regional, and international scene. I am your host, Ort Connor, and you're welcome to join me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 7:30 a.m. until 10 a.m. During that period, the phone lines are open. This morning, the radio voice of Silver Fox, Mr. Paul Akal, is in the studio to take your calls. You can call us on our toll-free number, provided courtesy of Flow. That toll-free number, 1-800-534-8255. You can also call us on 949-8037 and the 949-6990. If you don't like to talk on the telephone, then email us at fortherecord, one word, fortherecord at candw.ky. WhatsApp us, 925-3261. You can send us a text message or leave us a voice note, the contents of which will be played during the course of the show. And of course, you can follow us on YouTube simply by subscribing to Radio Cayman live stream. Today's the day we would normally have the official opposition in the studio with us, but I want to extend thank yous to the leader of the opposition, Honorable Ard McLean, for giving up his spot today. He has ceded his spot on For the Record to allow medical authorities to talk about the COVID-19 vaccination process and program that is taking place in the Cayman Islands. I, As you know, on Wednesday, I informed you that I had my second shot on Tuesday, and very little reaction to it. Wednesday, I felt fairly good, and then Wednesday afternoon, I had a little temperature. Doctor gave me a paracetamol, and free as a bird in the tree. This morning, able to cycle 31 miles, no problem. Keep up with those who are probably less than a third my age as well. So the people in the studio this morning are here to talk about vaccination and to encourage you. While the response in the Cayman Islands has been excellent, we know that we can do better, and we know what is necessary to keep us safe. So far, the government has done an excellent job, and it would be foolish of us at this point in time, after we have invested so much individually and collectively, to allow it to all go down the drain by now not taking advantage of the fact that we do have a vaccine that will help to protect you and protect those around you as well. So without any further ado, it is my pleasure to have back in the studio with me this morning Dr. John Lee, the Chief Medical Officer in the Cayman Islands. Also with me, first time in the studio for the record, Ms. Hazel Brown, who is the Chief Nursing Officer at the Health Services Authority here in the Cayman Islands. And we will be joined later on, soon, I should say, not later on, soon we'll be joined by Mr. Denniston Tibbetts, who is the president of the Cayman Islands Seafarers Association. So folks, without any further ado, let me say good morning and welcome to For the Record.
Thank you, Mr. Connor.
Good morning, OC. Thank you very much for having us, and everybody, I'm sure, wants to wish you a very happy birthday today.
I was trying to hide that, Dr. Lee.
Thank you very much. Very well.
Okay, so normally what I do is I also try to give the most recent COVID-19 stats, but you probably have them right there with you. So I would invite you, Dr. Lee, to join to share those with our audience.
Well, OC, people aren't so interested in the test results anymore, so I have vaccination stats instead for today.
Okay.
So it's a huge number that we've vaccinated, 11,856. I always like to remember that the UK's population is 65 million and we're 65,000. So if you add 3 zeros onto the end of our vaccination statistics, you can see how many you would hope the UK has also done. Mm-hmm. They started about 4 weeks before us, and they've done about 11 million too. So we aren't doing too badly at all. It's not a shabby effort. We're doing rather well. And due thanks and credit to not only to the public health team at the HSA, but all of their expanded team, because they're pulling in everyone from left, right and centre to come and help with their effort. So it's a three-line whip that they're really producing a marvellous service. So thank you very much to public health. In addition to that figure, we have 3,939 people who've had their second doses, like yourself, like myself, and I think also like Dr. Brown. Okay. We've all had our second doses. And we have 7,917 people who've had their first doses. So a very good number of people have had access to that degree of protection. And we know from other countries which are just, pushing it out just as one dose initially, that does offer a good deal of protection. Yes. As far as the age groups, and the reason that we're focused so intently on the age groups is the fact that increasing age above around 40, but in particular above 50, is overwhelmingly the largest predictor of a poor outcome and death for COVID-19 disease. So that's why and it's an easy number to look at. But so far, we've done 65% of the over 70s and 55% of the over 60s, which is great news. The way that we have come up with the figures for those different categories of how many people in each category is we've used the 2010 census data to give us the proportions of the population in each group. So the proportions of people 60 to 65, 65 to 70, and so on, yet we've multiplied that proportion by our current population, which, as you know, is around 65,000. So those details around the elderly lag a little bit because obviously we collect the data with the forms as people come up. It's a mass vaccination thing. It cannot all happen immediately.
Right.
There are steps that happen behind the scene to gather the data. And we've so far entered nearly coming up to 80% of the data that we have. But we, as we move along, that number will creep up, and it creeps up every time I look at the database. It's crept up again.
Okay. Dr. Brown, over to you.
Well, first of all, I'd like to add to what Dr. Lee said about the support that the Health Services Authority has received from some other agencies. The Tourism Attraction Board has sent us some personnel to assist us. Department of Environmental Health has sent us persons to assist us. And within the Health Services Authority, we literally are pulling our nursing staff from every single department. I want to give a big shout out to the nurse managers who have been so supportive of us in public health in this particular exercise. We really could not do it. Our public health cadre is really tiny, and we could not have done this without the support that we have received from all the other departments within the HSA and the other central government and the support that they have given to us. So I want to say thanks to everyone for the support. And I want to bring the reason for this conversation really up to the forefront right now, and that is my concern, and I think it's probably the concern of many of us, that our local population is not taking advantage of this opportunity and will not be protected unless they are fully vaccinated. While our data is not complete, for someone who knows the population, who knows the community, we can say without fear of contradiction that the majority of the over 70s and over 60s who've come forward for vaccine, or the over 70s definitely who have come forward for vaccine, while they are legally resident, while they are ours and we want to immunize them, they are not the indigenous Caymanian. And we believe that there are many factors that are contributing to the reluctance to take up this vaccine, and we would like to share some information. We want people to call in and ask the questions. Tell us why you're reluctant. Tell us what we can do to assist you if you have a problem with transport. Any issues, any barrier that you're experiencing to vaccination, we would like to hear about it and see how we can mitigate it.
Certainly. Okay, that's a good point for us to take a commercial break. Folks, please stay tuned. For the record, with Dr. John Lee and Dr. Hazel Brown will continue. We will be joined by Mr. Denniston Tibbetts as well. We're talking about COVID vaccination process in the Cayman Islands. And this show this morning is designed to encourage you to get out there, take the vaccine, and also to address any concerns, any questions that you may have. You can take the opportunity to either call in, send us a text message, send us an email. I will give you all of those details in terms of how you can do that as soon as we return from the commercial break. So please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series, brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Cayman Islands, he hath founded it upon the seas.
Charles Alexander Barnes. Charlie Barnes was the son of Jack and Ellen Barnes of St. Elizabeth, Jamaica. He worked on the Panama Canal in the 1930s driving a dump truck. In the late 1930s or early 40s, he came to Cayman from Honduras and started the island's first bakery on Shedden Road next to the Barclays Bank. During World War II, he supplied the U.S. Navy base and visiting warships with bread. He married the former Orma McField, with whom he had 6 children. In 1946, he introduced the first bus to Cayman and used it to transport church members to Sunday school and children to school, as well as to carry people to social events such as dances. He was proud of having cooked for the Duke of Edinburgh when he visited Cayman in the 1960s. Charlie was best known, however, for his popular Buttonwood Club on Shedden Road, a recreational center where people of all ages convened socially.
Radio Cayman's historical vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
As we ride the hamster wheel, scampering along the treadmill of living, we try to reset to this new normal, this new life. Where getting away is staying right here. Where vacation is staycation, staying safe. Where focus is surviving minutes, hours, days of anxiety. Step away and say hello to the latest exhibition of the National Gallery. Say hello to Alchemy by Cayman's premier sculptor, native son Horacio Esteban. Lose yourself in moments of geology meeting history, meeting botany, meeting zoology, meeting art. Where Caymanite and coral and unearthed cedar of thousands of years strike a pose in art. Bring your family. Leave your stress at the doors. Wellness, renewal, mental peppermint. Alchemy at the National Gallery, supported by Rotary Central Community Service. Rotary opens opportunities.
I grew up in a Canadian village with a general store that had just about anything you could ever need. That's what I'm reminded of every time I go into West Bay Pharmacy. It's not just because it's well stocked with necessities and oddities, but also because it's like our community hub. The staff treat customers like friends. Ron and the team of pharmacists have kept my family patched up and flu-free for years, and there are usually a few good laughs mixed in. They are truly taking care of my health and my family's health. West Bay Pharmacy is the very best of Cayman kind.
Learn about UCCI's IT Academy training programs, certifications, and the UCCI Cisco NetAcad Scholarship. More than 15 scholarships are available to new IT Academy students. Join UCCI's IT Academy informational session to learn how you can start a career in IT or further your intermediate skills, and all about the scholarship. You can visit www.ucci.edu.ky to learn more, or to directly apply to the scholarship, visit https://www.ucci.edu.ky/Cisco-NetAcad-scholarship. Green Turtle, modern solutions to get you through the new normal. Download the Green Turtle app now and top up yours or a loved one's phone with any mobile carrier in any destination. Home delivery of laptops, tablets, phones, accessories, and iTunes and major online retailer gift cards. And now, home deliveries of groceries and courier service. Guaranteed delivery within 2 hours from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Visit their list of products at greenturtle.ky or download the Green Turtle app today. Green Turtle is not only the future of mobile, but today it can help save a life. Take a ride on the Green Turtle Express today. Download the Green Turtle app, the future of mobile, saving lives today.
Honey, our fridge has stopped working again. Everything in the freezer is melting. We need to get this repaired right away. I'm calling Brand Source Service.
When you need the very best appliance service, call Brand Source Service at 623-5000. Offering service and installation of all brands and models of appliances. Brand Source Service is Cayman's source for appliance parts and repairs, with qualified and experienced technicians and the island's largest stock of appliance parts. Brand Source Service will have your repair completed in a flash. So, whatever the problem is, call the experts at 623-5000. Brand Source Service, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park. Telephone 623-5000.
Thinking of getting a hybrid but don't know much about them? Vant Motors has lots of great reasons why you should choose a Toyota Corolla Hybrid or CHR Hybrid for your new ride. Hybrid save fuel, run cleaner, reduce CO2 emissions, and even recharge their batteries while being driven, so you don't ever have to worry about plugging them in. Both are super quiet as well as economical and fun to drive. So stop by Vant Motors to check out a new, fuel-efficient, eco-friendly Toyota Corolla Hybrid for only $26,900 or a sporty CHR Hybrid starting from $34,150 while stock lasts. Go Toyota, go hybrid, go to Vant Motors on Walkers Road.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record.
This is For the Record with Ort Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. I'm going to say it is my pleasure to have these folks in the studio with me, but I would have preferred to have them here under different circumstances. Those folks in the studio are Mr. Denniston Tibbetts, who is the president of the Cayman Islands Seafarers Association, Dr. John Lee, the chief medical officer, and Dr. Hazel Brown, who is the chief nursing officer in the Cayman Islands. The reason that they are here this morning is to encourage people who are qualify for the COVID-19 vaccine at this point in time to please come out and get your shot. It isn't mandatory. No one is going to twist your arm for you to come out there and do it. What they're going to try to do is to show you the benefits of it. We know that there's vaccine hesitancy, not only in the Cayman Islands, but in other jurisdictions as well. And those authorities are facing the similar challenges in terms of addressing them. Here in the Cayman Islands, we have been so extremely successful in dealing with the COVID-19 situation. We wore our masks. We shopped when the last name or surname was eligible to go out there and shop. When there was curfews that were put in place, we observed those curfews as well. Everyone was waiting for the point where you got a vaccine, and vaccines are nothing new, especially in the Caribbean as well. They're not new to seamen because when seamen travel, they had to have that vaccination card with them, and other travelers as well had to have that vaccination card as well. But despite the rounding success that we have had in the Cayman Islands in terms of the vaccination process, and I'd like to compare ourselves to Bermuda because we're basically around about the same size in population. Yesterday, in reading the Bermuda newspaper, they had vaccinated up to about, I think, 5,000, and they had a delay yesterday or the day before because there was a shortage of medical staff, and I think they were doing it at one of their regiment barracks, and they had to cancel everything because of a shortage of medical staff. We have the exact opposite in the Cayman Islands, an abundance. You heard Ms. Hazel Brown talk about all of the staff and those persons who have been seconded over to assist them. But what we have to deal now with the hesitancy, vaccine hesitancy. And in order for us to be successful, people need to be vaccinated. So I'm going to throw it over to the folks, the experts around the studio. I'm just putting my part in there and hoping I can twist a few arms.
Good morning, OC.
Good morning, Mr. Tibbetts. Welcome, sir.
Dr. Lee, Ms. Hazel. As I said when I came in, I'm usually very punctual, but the traffic got me this morning. Anyway, I'm glad to be here. It's certainly a pleasure to be back in the studio with you. I have a few things I'd like to say about the COVID vaccine, but I guess that'll come later. So,
why don't you tell us?
Well, my idea of the vaccination is the same as I had when I was a young boy. A vaccination is very necessary. So far, I've had both mine. The first one was on the 11th of January, and the second was on the 1st of February. And thankfully, no side effects. Quite a few of the seafarers that I suppose I know all of them, but I don't know them by name, but quite a few of them have had them. All my siblings who are senior citizens have had them with no major side effects. So I recommend it wholeheartedly, especially to the membership in the seafarers are most of my age or older, and I highly recommend it because it's very necessary.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tibbetts. Go ahead.
Yeah, Mr. Tibbetts, I think you've done well, so well done for having taken the vaccine, and OC as well. He said he'd taken his second dose too. Yes. But I just wanted to say that I'm one of the unfortunate ones who did have some symptoms, so I don't want people to think you wouldn't necessarily escape some. So I had a sore arm, and on the second time it was a little bit worse, and we know that on the second time you have the vaccine you may have a little bit stronger symptoms than you did have on the first time. So my arm was sore, but I also had fevers and a little bit of insomnia for a couple of nights. But it's very strange in that it doesn't feel like a sickness, because suddenly it's just gone again, and you're back to normal. And I could still go to work, but I just wanted to let people know that some of us haven't got away so lightly.
Yeah, I guess I was fortunate. And the people who have had, the people who I know who have had, it's very mild, and it's usually only lasts 12 to 24 hours.
It's going to be interesting at the end of the well, there'll be no end to this project, I'm sure, but when we get the masses vaccinated, to look back and see where is there any correlation between, for instance, age and the side effects, because I don't think I've had many of the older people saying that they've had side effects. My mother is 93, and she had hers, and she said it was nothing. There was absolutely nothing, no concern at all. I have a sister, Annis, turned 84 on the 2nd of February. No side effects whatsoever. And, I'm 70 years old, and I felt, a little sluggish and had a little temperature. But she was out in her garden taking care of her orchids and all of her plants. We had to say to her, maybe you should take a break, but she was out there. I'm looking at some areas that can address the whole issue of vaccine hesitancy. And there are some suggestions. These 3 include reassuring patients that no corners were cut in terms of developing the vaccine. Also share that we should share the findings of some of the diverse trial pools, and also should confront the misconceptions that exist, especially with social media these days. So when we return, we're going to take a break for 8 o'clock news. When we return, maybe we can look at some of those issues, talk about them, so that we can, again, reassure the public. Remember, no one is forcing you to take the vaccine, but we know how necessary it is. You may be hesitant because of religious reasons. You may be sitting back and saying, well, I'm going to wait and see what happens to others before I do it. And that is certainly quite reasonable. But I believe that we have reached a point in time now where the facts are out there, and we have seen what has happened in the Cayman Islands so far. No major issues with those persons who have taken the vaccine. Folks, please stay tuned. For the Record, we'll be back immediately after the 8 o'clock news.
Radio Cayman Time Check is now 8 a.m. This time check is brought to you by our friends at Foster's.
When you're on the go, the experienced team at Foster's Pharmacy are here to help. Drop off your prescription while you shop, or WhatsApp us and we'll prepare it, ready for your arrival.
Whether you need prescription or over-the-counter medications, blood glucose testing, or advice on vitamins and supplements, we're here early in the morning to late at night. Both of our locations at our Camana Bay and airport stores are open 6:30 a.m. to 9 p.m., Monday to Saturday.
For more info, visit fosters.ky/pharmacy. Foster's Pharmacy. Better health, because we care.
The voice of the Cayman Islands.
89.9 FM in Grand Cayman and 93.9 FM in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman.
Silver wings shining in the sunlight.
Radio Cayman.
The 8 a.m. news is proudly sponsored by the Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. For further information, please visit chamberpension.ky.
The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. We're here for you. Please be advised that the pension contribution holiday has been extended until 30th of June 2021. Employers and plan members should ensure arrangements are in place for salary deductions and remittance following this date. The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan, keeping you informed. For further information, visit chamberpensions.ky, and for information as it happens, follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, or Instagram. Email admin@pensions.ky or call 745-7630. We're here for you.
Your voice, your choice for today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
With your latest news, I'm Karsley Fuller. Government announces $1.3 million in additional support for micro and small businesses.
I'm pleased to announce that Cabinet recently approved a one-time payment of $3,000 as a stipend to business owners who applied to Phase 2 of the government's micro and small business grants and who were not successful.
Commerce Minister, the Honorable Joey Hew, says it's a single payment that will be made per business, irrespective of the number of business owners or the number of applications submitted in the previous phases of the program.
I must emphasize that business owners who received a grant under Phase 2 of the program will not be eligible to benefit from this stipend.
Minister Hew says beneficiaries will not be asked to submit any new applications or supporting documents, since the documents they submitted for prior applications will be used as proof of operations. The funds will automatically be paid by electronic funds transfer. Some 450 businesses are expected to benefit from the program. While PCR tests of incoming travelers are mandatory, Chief Medical Officer Dr. John Lee on Thursday said they only provide a snapshot in time.
We were advised before the introduction of the positive test for the 72 hours before boarding the plane that these are not going to pick up everybody that's positive. Clearly, the test only tells you about the situation that you have at that very moment in time. You could be brewing an infection, or you might meet somebody that's infected on the way to your journey after that first test 72 hours before travel, and then subsequently become infected.
Dr. Lee says from Cayman's last 1,500 tests, 420 were inbound travelers, 10 were positive inbound, and 2 came back positive while preparing to exit quarantine. In other news, the Cayman Islands Bureau of Financial Investigations has secured court orders freezing U.S. $200 million in a significant contribution to combating money laundering and related offenses. The Bureau says the funds are part of several ongoing international investigations and have been frozen by the jurisdiction as part of the investigative process. At present, the Bureau is involved in several active investigations, a small number of which relate to the potential financing of terrorism. CIB-FI was established in March last year, building on the work of an interim task force set up in April 2019. It is a separate entity from the Financial Crime Investigation Unit, which deals primarily with domestic financial crime matters. Liz Lees is the National Coordinator for the Anti-Money Laundering Steering Group.
Although it's still in its infancy, the Bureau, along with the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions, has already secured restraint orders, which are proven tools to prevent the dissipation of assets by money launderers. The team is essential for the Cayman Islands as we seek to ensure that we're investigating and prosecuting criminal cases in line with our risk profile and international standards.
The Bureau's work forms a, quote, vital prong in the Cayman Islands' strategy to meet and exceed international anti-money laundering standards. Now with a check of international news, here's the BBC, which will take us out of the newscast. I'm Karsley Fuller from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
BBC News with Justine Green. A lawyer for the jailed Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny has told a Moscow court that the aim of his criminal persecution is to prevent him from standing in parliamentary and presidential elections. Mr. Navalny denies his Twitter comments about a TV ad featuring a war veteran amount to slander. The EU's foreign policy chief says he told Russia's foreign minister is of deep concern over the Navalny case and appealed for his release. Speaking to reporters in Moscow, Josep Borrell said he told Sergei Lavrov that an investigation must be launched into Mr. Navalny's poisoning. The US Senate has voted to approve a budget bill which allows Democrats to move forward with a $1.9 trillion economic stimulus package. Vice President Kamala Harris cast her first deciding vote in her role as Senate President after a 15-hour session dealing with hundreds of amendments known as vote-a-rama. The deadlock over the appointment of a new World Trade Organization chief has ended, with Nigeria's Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala to become its first woman and first African Director General. New education guidelines in Hong Kong will require children as young as 6 to be taught the new national security law imposed on the territory by Beijing. Younger kids will be instructed that collusion with foreign forces is a crime, while older ones will be taught the limits of Hong Kong's rights and freedoms. BBC News.
The 8 a.m. news is proudly sponsored by the Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. For further information, please visit chamberpension.ky. The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. We're here for you. We are a not-for-profit, member-centric plan with a democratically elected volunteer board of trustees representing all sectors of the Cayman Islands economy. We have an all-in expense ratio of less than 1%, over 20,000 members, and $490 million in assets under management. We were the first multi-employer pension plan approved by the regulator in the late 1990s, and today we are still strong, secure, and are here for our employees and employers alike. If you would like to join or require further information, visit chamberpension.ky. And for information as it happens, follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, or Instagram. Email admin@pensions.ky or call 745-7630. The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. We're here for you.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman for the latest in news and information.
Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
We asked 100 people what they would do with a little extra time. Top answers included hang with friends, sleep, volunteer, walking on the beach, watch TV. But the odd thing is, no one said, stand in line to pay my bill. Funny that. Now Logic introduces Logic My Account. Pay online, view bill history, schedule automatic payments, and more. Go to logic.ky/my account and pay online, not stand in line. Logic My Account. Go on. Give yourself a little extra time. Bake a cake, browse the web, yoga, spring clean.
It is truly important to our country that the voices of all the people in the Cayman Islands are heard on Election Day. Your vote counts. So on May 26, exercise your democratic right and vote. A public service announcement from your #1 community station, Radio Cayman.
Good morning, Cayman. Let's take a look at your weather. Present temperature is 75 degrees Fahrenheit, but it feels like about 78 now. Winds are out of the east at 9 miles per hour. Relative humidity is 83%. Last night's low was at 70 degrees Fahrenheit. Barometric pressure still at 29.94. Isolated showers along with moderate southeasterly winds and seas are expected over the Cayman area for the next 24 hours in association as the cold front becomes stationary east of Jamaica. So our forecast for today, partly cloudy skies becoming cloudy at times with a 30% chance of showers. Temperatures will rise to the upper 70s. Winds will be east to southeast at 10 to 15 knots with higher gusts. Seas will be moderate with wave heights of 3 to 5 feet. Later tonight, partly cloudy skies becoming cloudy at times with a 30% chance of showers. Temperatures will fall to the low 70s. Winds will be east to southeast at 10 to 15 knots with higher gusts. Seas will be moderate with wave heights of 3 to 5 feet. We're at a high tide. Low tide is coming up at 11:26 this morning. It's going to be high at 4:23 this afternoon and low at 11:26 this evening. For tomorrow, high tide is at 6:36 a.m., low at 12:40 p.m., high at 5:40 p.m. Sunset this evening is at 6:19. Sunrise for Saturday morning is at 6:59. The outlook is for similar weather through Sunday morning. That's the latest weather as provided by the Cayman Islands National Weather Service.
During these unprecedented times, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Cayman Strong Series. The Cayman Strong Series is brought to you by OnCourse Cayman. Visit oncourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. OnCourse Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
Change your thinking, change your life. Mastering the art of communication can open doors for you.
As Susie Kassem wrote in her book, Rise Up and Salute the Sun, we cannot control the way people interpret our ideas or thoughts, but we can control the words and tones we choose to convey them. Peace is built on understanding, and wars are built on misunderstandings. Never underestimate the power of a single word, and never recklessly throw around words. One wrong word or misinterpreted word can change the meaning of an entire sentence and start a war. And one right word or one kind word can grant you the heavens and open doors.
Change your thinking. Change your life.
Radio Cayman's Cayman Strong series was brought to you by OnCourse Cayman. Visit oncourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. OnCourse Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
These days, feelings of loneliness, anxiety, stress, and depression can be overwhelming. Just know you are not alone. OnCourse Cayman offers private mental health services for children, teens, adults, and groups. Visit oncourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. OnCourse Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
All right, once again, taking a look at the latest traffic situation right now. Taking a look at the Creighton Boulevard East-West Arterial. Traffic has eased up considerably and is flowing smoothly in the western direction. And looking past the Hurley's roundabouts, a bit of traffic there along Shamrock Road, moving a bit slowly. As you go on to the Lidford Pearson Highway, expect that slow traffic pace similar along Crew Road. If you're going through South Sound, expect that last bit of congestion to be easing up as the hour progresses. Turning up through Walker's Road, a little bit of traffic halfway to the point of John Gray and then continuing. If you're going along South Church Street, expect that traffic influx as well. And if you're coming off North Church Street, similar as you make your way in through via West Bay Road. Both streets in Georgetown now very much busy. Looking at Edward Street, Shetton Road, Eastern Avenue, the influx of traffic is moving along quite good. Looking at the roundabout outside L. Thompson, busy as well. Northbound traffic, similar eastwards, eastbound traffic to make your way along Godfrey Nixon Way via the Esley Tibbetts Highway. Traffic will, of course, ease up as the morning progresses. Buckle up, stay safe, look out on bicycle and motorbikes. Buckle up and stay safe. The traffic report brought to you by our friends at Subway.
Now you'll never have to choose between two desserts at Subway. The new caramel brownie cookie is 2 treats in 1. Imagine sweet, gooey caramel with decadent chocolate chunks baked in brownie-flavored dough and topped with a light drizzle of caramel icing. And you have the new caramel brownie cookie available at Subway. Complete your Subway sandwich, pizza, or salad with the delicious caramel brownie cookie or any other cookie flavor and dessert. Available at all Subway locations. Subway, eat fresh.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
Maintaining a strong mind and body through sports and general healthy living is a good course of action. But what about your spiritual man, your inner man? He has to be awakened, fed, exercised, strengthened, and led according to the will of God. So, have you heard the call? I'm Evangelist Brother Joseph Joey Ebanks, and I'm inviting you to worship Wednesday and Thursday nights at 7:30. We are bringing the Word of God to our communities as Jesus commanded. Faith comes by hearing, so come and hear. Bring your own chair or simply park and listen to the Word of God from your vehicle, covering the Cayman Islands with the Word of God, one community at a time.
Have you heard the call? We'll be at the junction of Reverend Blackman Road and Stadium Drive, West Bay on February 10th and 11th at 7:30 p.m.
That thing we've been saying for 64 years, ignore it. Eat the KFC wings, drink the KFC gravy, fill up on fries. Just please forget the thing we normally suggest. You know, that thing you used to do with your tongue after finishing a delicious piece of our KFC chicken. We get it. It's not easy. There's a reason why it's been our slogan for over half a century. But the world's drastically changed of late, and as soon as we can embrace the change, the sooner we can all get back to doing what we do best. KFC. It's good.
For the Record with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the Record with Orit Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me this morning, the president of the Cayman Islands Seafarers Association, Mr. Denniston Tibbetts, Dr. John Lee, Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Hazel Brown, Chief Nursing Officer in the Cayman Islands. They're here this morning to exclusively talk about the COVID-19 vaccination process that is taking place in the Cayman Islands. They're here to try to convince you, if you have not gotten the vaccine yet, that you should do so if you're eligible at this point in time. Not doing any arm twisting, but simply trying to give you the facts, tell you the reasons why it is so important for you to become immunized at this point in time. I'm going to go over the schedule for tomorrow, but before I do that, I want to share one of the comments that we received from one of our listeners. And this listener wrote and said, I would like to share that the two persons I have found reluctant to get the vaccine are firstly an 82-year-old gentleman who told me God will take care of him. I am still working to convince him to attend. And I'm going to add this little part to that. And I'm sure that I'm not in a position to give an 82-year-old advice because he's much more sage than I am. But I believe that there's somewhere in the Bible that says, or something that says, the Lord will help those who help themselves as well.
I don't know if it's in the Bible, but I know we say it all the time.
We hear that all the time. So I would just add that to that. Also, the writer says, another lady also in her 80s told me she had a heart problem and I asked her to speak with her health provider. The writer goes on to say, is it possible for district clinics to look at those in the 75 plus category and phone or visit them? I know the shut-ins have been visited recently. I appreciate all that is being done, especially meeting with church leaders. I want to give you all an opportunity to comment on that writer's experience and what they have shared with us before we go on.
If I could just say that one of the members of the Seafarers, he's 85. He's had both of them with no side effects. Mm-hmm. So it depends on who you are, yes, really, and what your pre-existing conditions are. I've also had, well, I myself, I'm 73, and I've had mine. No, I didn't even feel either of the injections. So I almost want to say it's a fallacy to think that that you shouldn't get it. Yeah, because I do recommend it highly.
Exactly.
It is one of those challenges for us, though, and this is true in any kind of religious society where people, have very, very strong faith. What I would like to say to that, though, is that in the Christian tradition, we believe that wisdom comes from God, and we believe that a lot of these discoveries and the science has come through that wisdom, and that's usually my response to persons who believe that God is protecting them. Yes, God is protecting you, and this is one of the means that He uses to protect you. That provision, the government is providing this vaccine free of charge. To me, it's a provision for the protection of our health, and I that would be my response to that older person. But also sit down, and I think we need to try to suss out what exactly it is other than this religious belief that drives them that reluctance. Many times if we sit and break the science down to them, they get it and they understand it, and they may think about it. It may take them a little bit longer to think about it, and that may help to change their attitude towards it.
Okay.
Well, there's also another saying that faith without works is nil.
Yeah.
So
that one is biblical.
Yeah.
Now we have a caller, but before we go to the caller, Dr. Lee, do you want to add anything in terms of the side effects and how those issues can be addressed?
The side effects are all mild that we've had and short-lived. But I think in a lot of these conversations, people are consistently thinking about themselves, and I want to flip it as far as vaccination is concerned and think about it as a gift to the community. So not only, yes, you're protecting yourself, but you're also protecting your community, and you're giving back to community by getting vaccinated, because if everybody is vaccinated, this virus cannot grow, it cannot cause the mutations that are causing us the problems, and it cannot spread. We will see once large numbers get vaccinated that the numbers of infections around the world will drop, and that's the benefit, and that's why probably only after fresh drinking water, vaccinations have saved more people on this planet than probably any other intervention from health. And that health knowledge, I see it as a gift from God or from your strong faith. That's where this has come from. So I'm very appreciative to that.
Okay. Paula, caller still there? Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning.
Good morning.
And good morning to the panel.
Good morning.
Can you tell me, say you want to do the vaccine, but you didn't do any COVID test at no point in time. Should you do a vaccine before you be tested to see if you do have COVID? And if you do get the vaccine and with COVID, what's the story after that? I'll listen for your answers, okay? Thank you.
Good morning, ma'am, and thank you for your query. Certainly you don't need to have a PCR test or any sort of test for COVID before you come and have your vaccine. Indeed, even if you have had COVID, we're encouraging you to come forward to get the vaccine, because the vaccine is very likely to give you a much stronger protection than the infection itself. And we know that the protection from the infection only lasts about 8 months, and then the body's immune system weakens a little bit thereafter from that first infection. So please don't feel you need to have that done.
I'd just like to add that we've actually been reaching out to some of our patients who were COVID positive, the ones that we cared for during in the beginning of the pandemic. And a lot of them have actually come forward. I would say that most of them, but I haven't really looked at the data to compare the two lists, have actually come forward to get the vaccine. They're really, really keen. They've felt it, and they're really, really keen to get immunized.
Yeah, my father, some of you may have seen my father, who's 94,
right.
my stepmother, who is 90, who's had a heart attack. She's on steroids. She's got diabetes. She's had a brain tumour. They've both been really happy in the UK to receive their vaccine this week. So I'm very much more comforted that they've received it. Now I know that they're protected, at least from that ravage, which, as you know, in the UK is widespread. Yes. And my father still potters down to the shops every day because he won't have any help in the house. And so I appreciate that when he goes out into the community, he now has that protection.
Excellent. We have another caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Morning. Listen, what I'm telling you, there's too much stupidity in this island for lack of knowledge. Some people can perish, because I speak to 3 people to try to convince them to get this, but it's too much social media and people talk too much. That's why a lot of people not going to get it, and there's a lot of people to believe foolishness versus to believe what they hear these professionals on the radio say. You know what 3 person tell me? An accident. One is a family member, man. They're waiting to see how much people die first before they can take it. And I say, well, I rather, because we're not going to live forever, and something got to kill you, and it's a chance to take it. So I'd rather a vaccine to kill me than get that COVID that can't breathe, and they got to put you on ventilator and stuff, because I imagine I've never ever been like that, but I've seen people that had emphysema and stuff suffer, can't breathe, and I imagine that's a terrible something to go through. But that's what happened. Like my daughter would say, small island, people who have nothing else to do and any wrong talking this and stuff. And news go like wildfire. And there's a lot to believe foolishness versus the truth and what is right. So that's some of the problem.
Okay.
That's the problem. And that I had to look at her and I say, really? Well, you would want me to die before you take it? And she just laughed.
Okay. Ma'am, I think your comments are absolutely spot on. So thank you.
Yes, a lot of people. When I came from taking it, we went to a supermarket, and I said to the girl, I said, have you taken it? She said, no, she ain't taken it. I said, why? And she said, because I don't know what it. I said, well, there's research. It's planted technology. That's how I want to go on Google stuff. Well, Google that. I said, she said, that's the COVID they injecting you. I said, well, that's just like they say about the flu shot. It's the flu, but I've taken that from time they get them in the island, and it never, ever sickened me. It never, ever did me nothing. Because I had a person to tell me, too, that killed 3 people. I ain't going to call no name. I said, that never kill them. Their number was up. God were ready for them. So that's what killed them. And then she said, well, she want. I said, well, I want to travel. That's why I take it. And she said, well, I can travel from Georgetown to Northside to West Bay. I said, well, then maybe you should go to Cayman Brac, too. I said, but that I can travel to them places, too, but I want to go Jamaica, Honduras, Tampa, Miami, New York, whatever. And then she said, I should have on the mask. Because then I said, maybe you should have it on, because I was sick and I went to the hospital and I had the test. I said, plus I have the first dose of vaccine. So maybe, and then I know about it. My daughters keep telling me, Mommy, don't even talk to stupid people like that, because lack of knowledge, some people should perish. So do even get an altercation with people like that.
So true.
Ma'am, we need a few more of you in the community to spread the word. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I tell it like it is, Doctor. I don't care if they like me, because I tell them, and everybody know my voice. I don't have to identify. And I tell them, God loves me, and to heck with the world. I don't care who like me, because they're not giving me no beans and they're not giving me no bread. So I tell it how it goes.
Well, I tell you, young lady.
I am a bush.
Everybody knows who you are, but I won't call your name.
I am a bush. Well, you can call my name, because everybody knows it's Shalma Martinez.
Well, you said it first, Shalma. But I'll tell you this. If you go on Facebook or any of the social media, there's so many things that you have to ignore, because people just make up these things and put them on and they...
Well, one of the things that we're facing locally is the Barracuda test. Mm-hmm. Right? We put it out there to see if it's going to poison the neighbor or poison the cat.
Believe that Donald Trump tell him to go bomb the White House. God will help him, don't tell me that, because and they say about well, he's stupid and he wicked and he this and he that. Come in, they were bashing McKeever the other day. I won't get on, tell him on a better hush on the mouth for on the get, because we have supporters here for McKeever. Just like what they have in the state for Donald Trump. But I didn't want, because you know how people is, and they can, and if they bash me, I bash them back. Because I like Donald Trump. You mash my saucer, I can mash your cup.
Caller, I want to thank you very much for that. We have to go to a commercial break. When we return, we will give our panelists an opportunity to also respond to what you've said. Folks, please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
I grew up in a Canadian village with a general store that had just about anything you could ever need. That's what I'm reminded of every time I go into West Bay Pharmacy. It's not just because it's well stocked with necessities and oddities, but also because it's like our community hub. The staff treat customers like friends. Ron and the team of pharmacists have kept my family patched up and flu-free for years, and there are usually a few good laughs mixed in. They are truly taking care of my health and my family's health. West Bay Pharmacy is the very best of Cayman kind.
Hi, I'm remodeling our bathroom. I have a few questions.
Sure.
What are some ideas to make my bathroom feel larger? How do I know if I'm picking the right vanity? How do I choose a new toilet or a new countertop? Also, the lighting is terrible. Can I put a window or a skylight? And do I really need an exhaust fan?
You've come to the right place. At Brand Source, we custom design kitchen and baths, and our talented design team can help answer your questions. Whether you're looking for a modern, functional family bathroom or a luxurious personal retreat, we'll help create that beautiful space that makes your home yours. And if you're in a rush for a new look and have a limited budget, our ready-to-install bathroom vanities built with solid wood and countertops of the finest materials are a quick and easy remodeling solution.
For the very best in custom-designed kitchens and baths, visit Brand Source Home Gallery on Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, Cayman's Kitchen and Bath Center.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. or grab an ice cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
Thinking of getting a hybrid but don't know much about them? Vamt Motors has lots of great reasons why you should choose a Toyota Corolla Hybrid or CHR Hybrid for your new ride. Hybrids save fuel, run cleaner, reduce CO2 emissions, and even recharge their batteries while being driven, so you don't ever have to worry about plugging them in. Both are super quiet as well as economical and fun to drive. So stop by Vamt Motors to check out a new, fuel-efficient, eco-friendly Toyota Corolla Hybrid for only $26,900 or a sporty CHR Hybrid starting from $34,150 while stock lasts. Go Toyota. Go hybrid. Go to Vamt Motors on Walkers Road.
For the record with Ort Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matter. For the record with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
We got another caller, so I'll grab the call. Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. I want to give you the schedule for tomorrow for the vaccination, but we do have a caller, and we give our callers priority, so let's take the caller first. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Morning, Brother Joseph. This is Brother Benjamin again.
Good morning. Good morning.
Yeah, you know who I am.
Yes.
That's Denison probably pick up the boy.
Oh, yeah, long time.
They wouldn't know me anyway. I am thinking about, I haven't got the vaccine yet, but, you know.
Stop thinking, do it.
I kind of wait until the rush eases up, but, you know, I had COVID in February last year. I thought a lot of people had that, you know, a lot of people didn't know about. But a lot of us that worked in the dock, we had that. I mean, we were sick as a dog with that. But we thought it was just a regular bad flu. But I will tell you, what helped me with it was going in the sea in the morning and drinking salt water. Actually, when I get off this phone now, that's why I hate. And I go into the beach, take my swim, my soak, and I can drink another 2 handfuls of salt water.
Okay, when you finish drinking that, head up to the airport. I'll be looking for you.
Well, that is true, but I can't get there yet. But what I'm saying to you is that salt water, as we all know, especially us island people, we should know that that's the biggest germ killer in the world. It's full of iodine, minerals, and salt. So, and I wait till the water off of the rock coming down off the moss.
COVID is more than a germ.
So if you add the vaccine to that, you'll be
exactly,
set.
Yes.
You'll be just ready to go.
And the first thing I went to me this morning was a glass of hot warm water with a little lime and a quarter teaspoon of baking soda. Do you know that baking soda will build your immune system? I'm 61 years old in 5 weeks. I don't take no tablet.
You just come here,
man. I ain't had a checkup in about 20 years.
Just come to the airport this morning, man. I'll be watching for you.
From 9 to 4 o'clock
this evening. The reason why I'm not in a rush to it because I wanted to travel to do some dental work. And I got to come back and quarantine 10 days. That's what I'm trying to avoid. So I'm in a rush. When the rush eases off, I'll come and take it. But I want the one from China, Covax. That's the vaccine I want. Because they got the right one.
Okay, caller.
It's my perspective. That's what I got. Anyway, you guys have a great day.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Cool.
Now, Dr. Lee, I was going to share Saturdays, but I think it would be instructive to do Fridays as well because there's still time, you know, for, we know in East End, it's from 9 to 10, stage 1, group A, surnames A to F, the second dose, right? And 10 to 11 for the second dose, G to N. And we know at 11 to 12, it's O to Z. And we know the leader of the opposition, he's heading out there to have his done as well. Now for George Owen Roberts International Airport, starting at 9, from 9 to 10, stage 1, group A, surname A to F, dose number 2.
So today at the airport is we're expecting the persons for their second dose. I think they may be the people who had theirs on the 15th or the 14th of, no, the 15th of February would be would
Because
be
I had
due
mine
now.
on the 12th and I did it
The
on
15th
Tuesday.
would be today, right?
Mhm.
So persons who had their first dose on the 15th should come out to the airport today. But also anyone, and the people that we're trying to target on this show is anybody over 60. If it's your first dose, your second dose, whatever, show up at the airport. The same thing in East End for those persons. And I want to say thanks to Mr. McLean for, first of all, giving up his slot today, and for the support that he's given us. Also Mr. Miller in Northside, they has really been done a fantastic job in Northside. But in East End, if you're convinced that you should go and get it and you haven't had your first dose, you're over 60, go ahead to the clinic. Even though it says dose 2, we are not turning away anyone over the age of 60. We're giving them first dose whenever you show up.
What about Borden Town?
Borden Town is on Monday. I think Borden Town is Monday in the morning.
I'll as soon as I switch over, I'll have Borden Town for you.
Monday morning, I think it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So Saturday now, tomorrow, 8 to 10 a.m. Owen Roberts International Airport. This is the first dose, stage 1, group A, B, and C. And also stage 2, group A, surname M to P.
That's the first one in the morning.
Yes, that's the first one in the morning. Anything you want to explain about that particular group?
That stage 2, group A, it includes those persons between the ages of 16 and 59 who have a medical condition. And by medical condition, we don't mean somebody who broke their leg or broke their arm, but it's diabetes, hypertension, chronic kidney disease, chronic lung disease, persons at home on oxygen, or persons who are using medications to control whatever illness you may be having. One thing I would like to encourage those persons who are coming in for that: don't make up conditions just to get the vaccine. I'm a firm believer that when you pretend to be ill, ultimately that comes back to roost. And we just want to remind everyone that the persons, priority persons, are always going to be those over 60. At any point in time when we open the doors at the airport, we want the over 60s to come forward. We bring them in first. We get them out first. And we do that several times during the day to just move the older persons through. Now, I say older persons very, very carefully because now I'm in that age group too, and I really don't feel too much older. I feel like I'm 19, but truth of the matter is that the truth of the matter is that we are much more vulnerable, and we are encouraging those persons. So tomorrow, if you haven't had your first dose, you're over 60. It's not going to be difficult to get through. Just show up at the airport and come forward. Any of the district clinics, even though we're saying dose 2 in East End today, even though we're saying dose 2, I believe in Borden Town as well on Monday, if you're over 60 and you haven't had your first dose, show up. We still will give it. Those persons who are stuck at home, who can't get out, reach out to your district clinics. We are trying to get into the homes. One difficulty we're finding is that we're giving the consent forms out to the family members of the persons who are homebound, but we're not getting them back. We're not administering the vaccine without a signed consent form. That first dose has to have a signed consent form. So if you want your older person to get the vaccine, please ensure that you return the consent form, or at least let us know that it's been signed and left at home if you can't bring it out to the clinic. We want to get those people who are homebound as well.
Okay. Now, one person off air wanted to know, they say they got their first dose on the 20th of January. When would they get their second dose? Normally, that is indicated on the card that you're given, right?
It tells you on the card.
Yes.
Yeah, the card tells you when you get the first dose. The date for your second dose is also on that card, the middle portion of that card. Now, one thing we need to get across to people is that the 17th of February is a public holiday, and we're not going to be immunizing at the airport. We're not going to be immunizing on the 17th. So if you got the 17th as a date for your second dose, come on the 18th to the airport. We think that maybe a few people got the 17th written on their card in error, but the 18th is the day that we'll be doing those vaccines.
Okay. And what about those persons who are living in a household with persons who are in that 70 plus age group, 60 and 70 plus age group?
Yep. So, OC, that's not yet. That is in stage 2. But stage 2, group A, is sticking with the people who have a relevant medical status between the ages of 16 and 60. Once we feel we've given everybody with medical status reason to the ability to come forward, we'll then proceed to stage 2, group B and C, which are those living in homes with people from stage 1 and the essential workers, teachers and school staff. You'll have to realize that as we go through the program, we will slow down the rate at which we'll be able to give vaccinations by 50%, as we have to give everyone a second dose now. When we first started, it was just a first dose that we were counting. So it will feel like we're slowing down and not reaching as many people, but we need to keep the flow of people steady and matched with our delivery of vaccinations from the UK on the British Airways flight. You'll remember they're all coming from the UK through the Governor's Office as a gift to support the UK Overseas Territories.
Now we have a caller, but before we go to that caller, while you still have the mic, Dr. Lee and Dr. Brown, at what stage or when do you reach the point where if you don't get the uptake that you want from these other age groups, and there are people out there who are anxious and willing and want to take the shots but don't fall into those categories, at what stage do we change course and go in their direction?
Yeah, so we're monitoring that all the time. We are giving an average 400 vaccinations a day, which is a good rate. I think it's probably about right. We need to make sure that staff get a break as well. We can't run them ragged because this is going to be, as Dr. Brown has mentioned, as I previously mentioned, it's likely we're going to have to continue to do these vaccinations for a few years to come. And on the national scale, instead of just the 5,000 odd flu jabs, or 3,000 to 5,000 we give out a year, it's going to be 65,000 odd jabs that we're going to have to give out every year. So we need to keep those things balanced, and I am watching it with Dr. Brown all the time to make sure that we are balancing our supply and our demand. It's a boring issue, but we're keeping an eye on it, OC.
And I must say that the staff up there, they seem pretty, they're enjoying themselves, they're enjoying the interaction, with the public. They're all quite friendly, very, very, very nice and everything, but they're all human beings and need that break.
To be honest, a lot of the people that will be coming forward won't necessarily have interactions with healthcare because, there's lots of groups of people who are relatively well or healthy, or it's just an age thing or whatever. So they, it's nice to see people who are well rather than people in casualty who are a bit poorly.
Yes.
And it's a great opportunity too for our staff to interact with the broader community. A lot of the people who work on the inpatient units never have this opportunity to reach out into the community. This is a public health arena where the public health nurses are very comfortable. This is their world. But with all the people that we have coming from the other units and from the inpatient services, it's been a tremendous experience for them, an exposure to the community so that they get to see the broader community and not only the ill, and also to see what the public health. The difference between curative and public health, on the inpatient or the curative side, you're thinking of the patient is your patient, the person, the individual is your patient. When you move into the public health arena, the community becomes your patient. So your whole approach to care shifts. And a lot of these people are just experiencing this for the first time. So it's a very, very positive experience for us at the Health Services Authority as well.
Okay, let's grab the caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Yes, good morning, lady, and good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
And good morning to you, Dr. Lee. Congratulate you on the excellent job you and your staff is doing at the hospital.
Thanks very much. So everybody's really pulling the stops out. We're really pleased to be getting the job done. Thank you.
Yes, sir. A quick question. Somebody that has a problem with or are allergic to vancomycin, and also they have issues with their blood, an anemic person, can they also receive the vaccination?
Yes, sir. Although there were worries originally when it came out about people with allergies, those concerns have been dialed back considerably. And now that we have so many million people that have trialed it, we have real-world experience of adverse reactions, which are all appear to be relatively mild and short-lived. We have had, I think, one person who had a lot of allergies come forward to the Health Services Authority, and they've been able to give that vaccination in a very safe environment and made sure that the people were okay, but actually they were being fine. So I would reassure you, clearly the nurse or person delivering the vaccine at the time will talk to the individual about their particular circumstance, but just from what you're telling me on the radio, it sounds that would be absolutely fine for them to come forward.
Well, thank you very much, and continue your good work. And good morning, Mr. Denniston. I hope you're behaving.
Thank you very much,
on his best behavior,
Mr. George.
just one, as we're talking about that, the centres, I just wanted to say a great deal of thanks also to Albert Anderson and the staff at the Owen Roberts International Airport. That's been a really great facility that we've been able to provide, and much more comfortable and lots of space for everybody to work in. So thank you very much.
Can I just give you guys something that I experienced at the airport? I was going to mention it earlier. The security guards, when you go there, they need to be more educated toward, because I'm there in this line with 5, maybe 50 people, and one lady was smart enough. She went up and asked, and then she came back and said, all those over 60 can come with me. But I mean, if he had said that, then we wouldn't all be in the sun, because most people there were over 60, you know.
No, and I acknowledge that issue, and thank you for bringing that to us. One of the things that we're dealing with is that we have lay people manning the door, and they are learning as they're going, and they've really been doing a tremendous job. I'm really impressed today. This is now 2-3 weeks into the airport, at how well they're doing compared to where we were at the very beginning. They've learned a lot, and I'm not finding that I have to man the door as much as I did initially. I was actually from the very outset having to stand at the door, and it's not really a good use of professional time to stand there. That I'm another vaccinator who could be actually pushing people through. So if anyone has any issue with the security guard, by all means, I'm generally at the airport every day. Feel free to reach out to me and let me know. And we will address it. Now,
no disrespect to the security guard. I'm just saying that.
No, I understand, and it's an issue that we've had, and we acknowledge it. Airport security has also been helping us, which is a tremendous support as well. But if you imagine, I have all this inside my head, so I know immediately how to answer the questions out there, and I don't have to stop and figure it out or run and ask somebody else. But when we place them in that forum, you know, they're really learning as they're going. In addition, and I say this without any fear of contradiction, some people at that door are tremendously rude, and we're also having to deal with that. Now, we don't want to not immunize them. We're going to immunize them. But you can imagine the challenge, if it's a challenge to me as a professional with 40, 50 years experience behind me to deal with the rudeness, what it's like for those persons who aren't prepared for that response. So it's I will have the conversation again today, though. When I go back out there, just make sure that they understand clearly. There's some of them who are really, really sharp, and they're always pulling the over 60s and over 70s in. They know that if somebody comes in a wheelchair, that person goes straight in, or on a walker, or, you know. But thank you very much. I'll address that again when I go up.
Sure. Dr. Leah, I know you need to leave in about 5 minutes. I want to give you an opportunity. Again, one of our listeners wanted to know about the availability of other vaccines and, how will that impact the Cayman Islands?
Yeah, so the Cayman Islands has signed up to the COVAX facility, which is a facility of buying vaccines on the global scale. We've actually opted not to have, obviously, the Pfizer and the AstraZeneca vaccines, which are available from the United Kingdom. I think it would be a little bit unfair for us to take away so that those can be given to other people. And we've had a lot better provision for vaccines than you're going to get through COVAX initially.
Yes.
As time moves along, I'm expecting that other facilities, for example, Doctors Hospital or Health City or other healthcare providers, may be able to provide the vaccine and further spread the availability. There will be regulations around that to make sure that public health are aware and have approved these centres and they know what they're doing and so on and so forth, and checks in place, and they're sending figures back to public health. But that will further help us to provide penetration. But I would imagine in a year or two from now, we may even not be gathering as much data as we are because everybody will just know that they need to get vaccinated, and it'll be part of everybody's working and home lives to do so.
Okay. Now, on the vaccine hesitancy and some of the suggestions, reassuring patients that no corners were cut when the vaccine was developed.
Yeah, I think, yes, absolutely, there were no corners cut. And I think what's very reassuring is that the stringent regulatory authorities, as they are deemed by the World Health Organization the world over, are all approving these vaccines. So it's not just one group of clever professors and scientists, it's multiple groups around the world who are all independently reviewing the data and making their own decisions. And they've all said that all of the studies that have gone into testing these have been stringent and rigorous, and they're safe for us to use. And the fact that they are being given out so successfully to the millions is true testament to that.
Okay. What about sharing the findings from the diverse trial pools that were used?
I don't fully understand the question.
Describe the trial participants.
Yeah. And
the volunteers, you mean?
And share the findings that were discovered, things that were discovered when the trials were being done, and that they're suggesting that we should share those findings as well.
I couldn't really speak
because you were
I couldn't really speak to that because I don't know the information that was presented. I certainly know, for example, the Food and Drugs Administration in the USA, they like to look at all of the primary data, which is slightly different to some of the other agencies which look at the secondary already interpreted data. They actually want to have the individual figures. So it is exceedingly vigorous, the work that goes into this. So they will have seen exactly the data that you're talking about. And that information is probably freely available. But I can't speak for these agencies. I don't work for them themselves. But they have looked at it.
Okay, and this one, confront misconceptions. And I'll just give you this story real quickly. My son was at a location yesterday, and they were, of course, talking about Trump. And he got into this conversation with the person, and the person said to him, you should look at YouTube. You should check YouTube, and they will tell you all of the facts there. And my son said, if you're relying on YouTube to get your information, then you're in a bad situation. So how do we confront those
Well, unfortunately, that's really where people are looking for their information, and it's one of the things. It's something that challenges us all the time. There are scientific sources that you can be looking for, but first of all, you have to trust the science, and that's one of the things that has weakened over the last, couple of years. People are not trusting the scientists. Now, what I'd like to say is that scientists operate in almost a rarefied world that is often apolitical, because they're committed to the science instead of being committed to the science and of power. But so scientists, the top level virologists, for instance, who would be involved in studying COVID, the top level virologists in China, the top level virologists in the UK, these top level across the globe, they form their own little group, and they're conversing. They're sharing this. As I was saying on the show yesterday, technology has allowed groups to interact so much more closely, so much more quickly, to share information, to share data, and that explains the speed at which information can come out. But we now need to figure out, first of all, sometimes I don't have the language to be able to interpret some of the articles that we're finding that are out there on the internet, and I have to sit down. It's not as though it's a quick read. Mm-hmm. I have to sit and pore over this. Now, I have the benefit. My son, as a child, as a tiny little boy, when he was 8 years old, started to read doctoral theses on virology because he wanted to be a virologist. That was what he was going to be. And of course, if you're going to have a conversation with a child, you need to start learning something about it too. So for many, many years, we've been looking at viruses and the study of viruses and that sort of thing. And it has given me a bit of an edge in interpreting some of these articles. But they're not easy reads. They're not easy for the average person to read. They're not easy for me to read. And because of that, people are filling the gaps in their knowledge by things like YouTube, mm-hmm. by those easy to digest sources. And it's not really the best way to be informing ourselves.
Okay, I have a few questions. Mm-hmm. And we want to catch Dr. Lee before he leaves as well. It says this person says, my daughter is asthmatic. Can she still take the vaccine?
Absolutely. She would be at high risk. So
Okay.
she definitely, we would recommend it for her.
Okay.
16 to 59 with asthma, yes.
Okay, and this one says, can a senior person with a pacemaker take the vaccine?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
because my brother, he has a pacemaker. Well, he has a defibrillator. There's a difference, I suppose.
Yeah, and
but he got it, and he had no after effects.
Okay, excellent.
And he's over 70.
Okay, we've reached top of the hour. Our headline news at 9 o'clock, folks. Please stay tuned. For the record, Dr. Lee has left us, but we still have Dr. Hazel Brown and Mr. Denniston Tibbetts in the studio. We're going to continue to talk about the COVID-19 vaccine process in the Cayman Islands because, folks, while you have been responding excellently to it, where you can do better, you have to do better if you want to be protected and if you want to protect those around you as well. So please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
I grew up in a Canadian village with a general store that had just about anything you could ever need. That's what I'm reminded of every time I go into West Bay Pharmacy. It's not just because it's well stocked with necessities and oddities, but also because it's like our community hub. The staff treat customers like friends. Ron and the team of pharmacists have kept my family patched up and flu-free for years, and there are usually a few good laughs mixed in. They are truly taking care of my health and my family's health. West Bay Pharmacy is the very best of Cayman kind.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice-cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
Continuing the Caymanian tradition.
Let Cora keep my ground so clean.
The heart and soul of the Cayman people. Thank you for keeping the culture alive.
There's wisdom news every day. From East End to Georgetown, down into West Bay.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman.
It's only 2 species that we have, on the island.
Generations present.
Your voice, your choice.
It is in the best interest of the people of these islands.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
Government reported 5 confirmed new cases on Thursday of COVID-19, bringing the total number of confirmed cases to 405 out of 68,000 test samples. Just under 4,000 people in Cayman have received both COVID-19 vaccines, with almost 12,000 vaccinations in all. The U.S. House of Representatives has voted to expel a Republican congresswoman from 2 committees over incendiary remarks she made before being elected last November. Marjorie Taylor Greene had promoted baseless QAnon conspiracy theories and endorsed violence against Democrats. Before the vote, she said she regretted her views, which included claims that school shootings and 9/11 were staged. 11 Republicans joined Democrats to pass the motion at 230-199. And U.S. country singer-songwriter Jim Weatherly, best known for writing 1970s hit Midnight Train to Georgia, has died at the age of 77. He passed away at his home near Nashville, Tennessee on Wednesday. Music publisher and friend Charlie Monk said the family attributed his death to natural causes. Those are your headlines. I'm Kersley Fuller.
For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
your voice, your choice, your radio.
You still run rings around your kids or grandkids. You can show the young people a thing or two. You wouldn't say you're old just yet. You may not think you're vulnerable to COVID-19, but you are. High-risk individuals with COVID can get long-term damage, including lung damage, brain fog, and loss of smell. In some cases, they may die. People age over 60 are strongly encouraged to get vaccinated for yourself, your family, and the community to keep yourself healthy and feeling young. For information on how priority individuals can get vaccinated, visit hsa.ky.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matters. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, Dr. Hazel Brown, Chief Nursing Officer at the Health Services Authority in the Cayman Islands, President of the Cayman Islands Seafarers Association, Mr. Denniston Tibbetts. We're talking about the COVID-19 vaccine program that is taking place in the Cayman Islands. And while I have the mic, of course, For the Record would not be a show unless I infused a little bit of politics into it as well. Now, Miss Hazel, she's a civil servant, so she may not be able to get too involved in this end of the conversation, but I'm sure Mr. Denniston won't have any hesitation. My observation is, and I ask you to observe as well and ask yourself the question and answer it. We just finished voter registration period in the Cayman Islands. How many potential candidates, how many incumbents have been to you, have encouraged you to get registered to vote? COVID-19 vaccination process. How many of your incumbents, how many of prospective candidates for the May 26, 2021 general election are getting out there asking you if you have been vaccinated? And you would hope that they are encouraging you to be vaccinated as well, because they, I'm sure, want you to be alive on the 26th to cast your vote. If you're lucky and you vote in advance, and if you're unlucky and you pass away before the election day, can't take your vote out of the ballot box. It's already there, so it will count. But if you have to vote in person on election day, you would hope and would trust that they would at least want you to be alive to be able to cast your vote. My question is, how many of them are out there encouraging you to get vaccinated? Like I said before, they can't twist your arm. You're not being forced to do so. But we know that politicians, we know that they're members of the community who have a lot of sway and a lot of influence. We see the tremendous job that Mr. Miller is doing in Northside, Mr. McLean is doing in East End. I don't know, because I haven't been in conversations. I haven't heard them call in on the show to say what they're doing in their particular constituency or the constituency within which they're going to be running. We want to hear from you too. The people want to hear from you. They don't want to just hear from you when it comes time to election or when it comes time for voter registration. So that is my little plug that I wanted to get in there at this point in time, as well. Do I have another question? No, none at this point in time. Two callers, though. We do have two callers. First caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Hey, good morning. I'll see to you and your panel.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm very thankful.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Davis. There's one thing that frustrates me in this island, and it really seriously frustrates me. Security guards. Security guards is there to do just that, security. Okay? Nothing else. They're not healthcare practitioners, nothing. I took my wife and uncle, who is well over 60, to the airport center. I think that was Monday morning, I believe, if memory serves me right. And he was refused. The security guard told him, oh, no, we can't take you because we're only doing second dose today. But yet, when the flyer comes out, it says, persons over 60 is welcome to go to any of the facilities to get vaccinated. And that's what you're trying to do. As far as what I'm listening to, they're trying to get those people who are vulnerable to get vaccinated. Yet this clown is up there telling them no. So it turns them away. So we thought we had seen the last of the clowns, and we go to West Bay, and there's another clown down there telling them the same thing. These people is just there to do what they're there, and a breach of the peace, they're there to deal with it until the police arrive. Just that, only that. But these people, it just frustrates the hell out of me. You go to supermarkets, they're there won't take your receipts. You go to hardware stores, they're there showing you a part to pick up where there's a screw. Not their jobs. Not their jobs. Completely not their jobs. So, Ms. Brown and others, let these people know what their jobs are. Let the healthcare workers who are doing a fantastic job. I had the vaccine. It took me from my vehicle to getting, as they say, the jab, 7 minutes with nothing but professionalism from my car to there.
I'm back.
So.
Well, if I could just interject here. Earlier in the show, we spoke about that, and Dr. Brown has agreed that she will speak to such individuals a second time, because apparently she has spoken before. So we're aware of that because I brought it up, and I think she's going to deal with it now. But it's good that you bring it up because they need to know.
Yeah.
I know she has conduct of it. It'll be sorted out. Anyway, thanks a lot, and you all have a good day.
Thank you. Thank you very much, caller.
Thank you very much, sir. Thanks for bringing that to our attention.
Okay. Next caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning again.
Good morning.
Yeah, I agree with what that gentleman there is saying. Oh, my goodness. I forget what I called you for. But
You're having a senior moment.
Mm-hmm. We're accustomed to those.
I'm calling, yeah. In regards to people, especially our locals, or Kimanians that call themselves Kimanians, and not the paper Kimanians, but real born Kimanians, that who is written on there trying to decide if they should take the shot or not. But I can guarantee you, if we run out of that vaccine and something breaks out, I can guarantee you all of those Kimanians that be throughout the whole island looking for a vaccine. And I hope it never comes to that problem here in the island.
I hope not.
So, I hope not. People are saying that, they kind of like to say what people say, but they're saying that this thing has not been tested on animals. I don't know, and I really don't care, because if it wasn't doing us some good, they wouldn't have brought it to the market. Take 3 years to make something, it is too long. If you make it in 6 weeks, that was too quick. So you just tell cannot please the people in the world today. Don't care where the place is at, Cayman, all the way to Africa. You can't please nobody today. And like they say yesterday, technology is taking the world over. So anything is possible to get done within a short period of time instead of waiting 3 to 5 years.
Yeah, we spoke about that.
Huh?
So we spoke about that. But, take the United States. Even though we're British, we rely on them so much. Everybody's tuned into CNN. They are doing sometimes more than 1 million per day of vaccinations. The United Kingdom has done 65,000 so far, which is our population. We have done, I think it's 5,000 or something. And
10,000?
The next one, well, I think it's 5,000 that has got 1 and 2. But anyway, be that as it may.
About 3,000 have 2 doses.
We're getting this thing free, and it's, even though it was developed in a short time, but it was because of the combination of all of the aspects of people being able to converse with one another, all the scientists, all the epidemic, whatever the word is, and they come together, and we should be happy. So people
are you all counting one person into 2 for when they make the first dose and the second dose? Are you counting them as 2? As
So we count persons and we count doses.
Go ahead, honey. Sorry.
So persons would be the total number of people who had 1 dose. Doses is going to be the total number of doses that would include, and from that you can figure out that if we've got 10,000 first dose, or if we've got 10,000 persons, but we've given 12,000 vaccines, you know that 2,000 people have had 2 doses.
Yeah. So, what is the hours to the airport today, please? Is it open today?
Yes. We're actually open now, and it's open until midday today.
Yeah, so can any age go there this morning?
Not any age, but anybody over the age of 60. First dose, second dose, we never turn away the over 60s.
So, yeah, I got someone who's interested in going this morning, but they wasn't too sure, how it runs. So then if you got there at 10 o'clock, they should be able to get a dose.
Yes. Dose. And if you have any problem, I should be there by 10 o'clock. Just ask for me.
So do she have to bring in what sort of form ID do they have to bring with them?
Driver's license will be fine.
Or voter registration.
I've been taking driver's license, voter ID. Bring passport, whatever.
Yeah, is this kind of going to be mandatory, or are we just playing by ear right now?
Well, I don't think it'll ever be mandatory. It's always going to be something that you have the option to take.
I mean the virus. I mean the vaccine.
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. I don't think it'll ever be mandatory. The only way that can be mandated is that somebody can say you require it to travel to enter my country. So if Cayman decides that the vaccine is required to enter the country, then if you go out, you can't come back in without it, or But
you know what?
Generally speaking, that's going to depend on individual countries and their regulations.
Okay, thank you guys. Y'all doing a good job.
Thank you very much, caller. We're going to take a commercial break. Folks, please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
Green Turtle, modern solutions to get you through the new normal. Download the Green Turtle app now and top up yours or a loved one's phone with any mobile carrier in any destination. Home delivery of laptops, tablets, phones, accessories, and iTunes and major online retailer gift cards. And now, home deliveries of groceries and courier service. Guaranteed delivery within 2 hours from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Visit their list of products at greenturtle.ky or download the Green Turtle app today. Green Turtle is not only the future of mobile, but today it can help save a life. Take a ride on the Green Turtle Express today. Download the Green Turtle app. The future of mobile, saving lives today.
It's time to buy smart. It's time to buy Ropers. Find everything for your home and kitchen at low prices. Ropers. Appliances, dishware, bulk foods, and so much more. With huge savings. Ropers is stocked for your hurricane supplies. Don't cut back on your needs. Cut back on your spending with Ropers. Your neighborhood store. Value. Integrity. Ropers Enterprises. 122 Industrial Way. Call 949-2511. Clean up your spending with Ropers. Ropers, providing products and services for better public health.
Thinking of getting a hybrid but don't know much about them? Vant Motors has lots of great reasons why you should choose a Toyota Corolla Hybrid or CHR Hybrid for your new ride. Hybrids save fuel, run cleaner, reduce CO2 emissions, and even recharge their batteries while being driven, so you don't ever have to worry about plugging them in. Both are super quiet as well as economical and fun to drive. So stop by Vant Motors to check out a new, fuel-efficient, eco-friendly Toyota Corolla Hybrid for only $26,900 or a sporty CHR Hybrid starting from $34,150 while stock lasts. Go Toyota. Go hybrid. Go to Vant Motors on Walkers Road.
For the Record with Ort Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matters. For the Record with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, President of the Cayman Islands Seafarers Association, Mr. Denniston Tibbetts, Dr. Hazel Brown, Chief Nursing Officer in the Cayman Islands. We're talking about the COVID-19 vaccination program that is taking place in the Cayman Islands, trying to give you as many facts as possible, trying to dispel any false information that may have been put out there, which may be contributing to persons being hesitant about taking the vaccines, and also trying to answer any queries, concerns that you or a listening audience or a family member may have as well. We have a caller, but before we go to the caller, Dr. Brown, in terms of the if someone gets up to the front and they're not satisfied with the response that they're getting from a security officer who may be there, what should they do?
Ask for someone on the inside. Ask for a public health nurse. There's always a public health nurse in there. That would be the lead person. Most days I'm there, so maybe they could ask for me at the very beginning, and if I'm not there, then ask for the public health nurse, who is kind of overseeing the process. We need to hear about these responses and these issues, because we really don't want anyone to be turned away who is eligible for this vaccine. So by all means, reach out. Everybody has my phone number. Feel free to give me a call or call somebody who knows my phone number. I'm sure there'll be someone out there on people's phones. So if you are over 60 and you are told at one of the stations that you're not eligible for vaccine, do not leave. Wait until you hear from the public health nurse, because we don't want to lose anyone over the age of 60.
Yep. Okay. Paul, we're going to grab the caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, OC. Good morning, Dr. Brown, and good morning, Mr. Tibbetts.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Just on the last comment there, before I ask my question, you have to go through the security guard. So if you're going to ask for Dr. Brown or whichever the nurse is there or whatever, they're the ones that you're going to ask to get them. I mean, if they're going to turn you away, they're not going to come to you.
No, they will. I think, particularly the security who works at the hospital, I interact with them constantly during the day. I really don't see them saying no to that. They know the role that I play out there. However, if you do encounter that, feel free to reach out to me personally. Feel free to reach out to somebody else at the hospital. Call the flu hotline, and they will always be able to find me. So, the bottom line is, if you're over 60 and you show up for vaccine, don't take no for an answer.
All right. What if I'm under 60?
Well, if you're under 60 and they turn you away, they know why.
Yeah, but I mean, you're telling everybody to get vaccinated, but you still, I mean.
Well, there's a time slot for you,
yes.
you see.
Right now.
We need to know that, because, I mean.
Okay, so let me explain. Right now, anyone between the ages of 16 and 59 who has a medical condition.
Which is me.
is eligible to come for the vaccine, but not on the days that we're doing second dose. So last week Saturday was first dose for that group. Tomorrow is first dose for that group. When we go up to do second dose, when we're preparing to do second dose, we're looking at the numbers of persons who were vaccinated the 3 weeks before that, on the date 3 weeks before, and that's the number of doses that we transport. You will recall that the vaccine has to be kept at an ultra low temperature,
Right,
it has to be thawed. So we take it out the day before. We leave it in another fridge which brings it down, brings the temperature up, in preparation for dilution and drawing up. And we only pull up the number of doses that we estimate that we will need in any given day. So when we're preparing for day 2, for dose 2, we take out, for instance, I don't remember how many it is today, but on one day it was 917 second doses that we anticipated doing. So we take out that amount, defrost it, and thaw it and have it ready. Now we know that we'll always make provision for a small number of the over 60s because they keep coming in. Sometimes we get 20, sometimes we get 30 over 60s who'll show up on a second dose day, and we're not turning them away. But the 16 to 59s we expect to still come on their first dose day. Now tomorrow, the alphabet, I think it's from M to Z tomorrow. However, if there's someone in that 16 to 59 age group who has not had it, who is A to L, by all means show up, because the truth is, on a day like tomorrow we have no clue how many, so we have a certain number thawed, but when we notice that we're getting down to, suppose we use that all up in 2 hours, we know we have to go down, and it'll take us a half an hour to thaw and get started to be able to prepare vaccines. Sometimes we've had to say to the crowd, we're going to have to take a 15-minute break because we have to bring vaccine from the hospital or whatever. But we're not going to turn away anybody tomorrow who is between the ages of 16 and 60 with a relevant medical condition. And you will recall, I don't know if you've been listening, but we said very, very clearly, it has to be a chronic medical condition. It can't be that I had pneumonia 3 years ago. Everybody's had, pneumonia at some point in time, or some lung infection. We're looking for diabetes, hypertension, chronic heart disease, chronic kidney disease,
all kinds of things.
so we are, but it is, we are looking for serious medical conditions. We cannot open it up. Now, one of the things that we're facing is that people are lying.
No, I wouldn't be lying.
No, but I'm just telling you. I'm not saying that you're lying, but we are facing. So the security guards are helping us, and they're seeing. I've had a security guard point out to me, "Hey, that guy was just here in another outfit. This is his second time around trying to get through, and the guy had changed up his form and went home, changed his clothes, come back, put a cap on his head, and sometimes when you're looking at so many people, they all look alike.
Right.
So,
another question: if I came, me and my wife, would she be able to get it as well or no?
Not if she doesn't meet the criteria. So, the next group, that Group B under Stage 2, will be persons who live with people who are in the vulnerable groups, and that hasn't been opened out yet.
And how would that person then be able to establish the bona fides that they're living with a vulnerable group?
I don't know. I have to cross that bridge when I get to it. The truth of the matter is that this whole vaccine program is built on an honest system.
Yes.
We have to believe that people are telling the truth. If not, because we can't check everything, we have to believe that that people live here, for instance. We have to believe that people have medical conditions. Not everyone can go to a doctor. We would overwhelm the doctors if everybody had to bring a medical a letter saying that I have this particular condition.
Would teachers classify as vulnerable?
No. Teachers would be also in one of the groups to be opened out on the Stage 2, but they haven't been opened out yet.
He asked if they were honorable.
Would they be?
I would hope that they would be.
No, I said vulnerable.
Oh, vulnerable. Oh, I thought you said honorable.
Yeah. No, they're teachers, persons who work in supermarkets, persons who work in restaurants. They're coming out in another group. Now, we're having difficulties sometimes explaining to the public what essential means and how we're defining some of these terms, because the truth of the matter, every human being considers themselves essential.
Essential,
So,
correct.
so we're very careful with the language that we use, and we're trying to be very, very specific. Frontline workers is not a term I like to use because everybody works on the front line for someone. And essential workers is not a term I like because everybody who works down in some little retail store is essential to the operation of that store, right?
Precisely.
So we're trying to make that very, very clear. When the next phase opens, it will be persons who live with, and we will probably ask what's the name of the person that you live with, and go back to our data and see is that person immunized.
Okay, caller, I want to thank you very much for that. We have two more callers queued up, so we want to grab at least one before we go to our next commercial break. First caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Morning.
I have a question to ask. I had a heart surgery some years ago, and I'm on blood thinners. Xarelto, 20 mgs, and aspirin, 81 mgs.
Come along.
Is there a problem with that?
No. We'll just hold your vaccine site for a little longer to make sure that you don't bleed. We need to know it because we want to hold the pressure on there for a little bit longer.
Why I asked, I heard where a doctor was on blood thinners in the States and he took it and bled out.
Well, that must have been a big needle for him to bleed out, I'll tell you.
I mean, he had bleeding and he died.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything like that. We haven't heard of anything like that.
Well, my brother, who's 71, and has had heart surgery, he's had a heart attack and heart surgery, and he had absolutely no side effects on either one of them.
Yeah.
Okay. Dr. Brown, while you're with that, caller, you may want to explain the recovery area that you have established as well for persons after they have gotten the vaccine.
Yeah, thank you for asking about that, OC. That's actually very, 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 very important. Now, we have not had any anaphylaxis, none at all. We had a couple of people in the first days, and we were all antsy in the first days. Where there was one gentleman whose head felt kind of heavy, and we immediately walked him over to A&E. He came back last week, got his second dose, and said he was fine. He really and truly didn't have anything significant, but of course we just walked him over to A&E and left him. And there was another lady who complained that she was having some swelling to her mouth, but it wasn't very evident to us.
Yes.
And there was another one who had a little bit of a rash, but that was in the first week of starting this program, and we've had none at all at the airport. However, we do want to keep people for 10 to 15 minutes to observe, just to make sure that when they leave us, they're okay. And with the issue of the bleeding, though, you won't get up from your station until they have held it. Normally, we don't hold it. We just press it and put a Band-Aid on. But if you've been on blood thinners, we may want to hold that a little bit longer, maybe give you 10, 20 seconds of pressure rather than just immediately putting the Band-Aid on.
Well, I've been on blood thinners for over 25 years now.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, but you'll be safe.
Okay, ma'am.
Caller?
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thanks for calling as well. Paul, let's grab the other caller before we go to our break. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Good morning, caller. Welcome to For the Record. Oh,
go on.
Good morning, caller.
Hello?
Good morning.
Yeah, hi. A question. If you get your first dose, can you travel on that first dose? You have to have a second dose too?
It has no bearing at all on travel, ma'am. It's a very good question, and I thank you for asking it because a lot of people are misunderstanding. But the vaccine has no bearing at all. It simply protects you and protects the wider population in case there should be a case around. So you can travel, you can take the vaccine and travel. You can not take the vaccine and travel.
So if I take the vaccine, I have one shot and I go in for 6 weeks and come back, I can get the other shot.
You can get the second shot when you come back.
And I want to get COVID in America.
You have to, I think you have to take it in 12 weeks. The minimum is 21 days and the maximum is 12 weeks.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you very much, caller, for that.
Bye.
Folks, we're going to take a commercial break. Please stay tuned. For the Record with Dr. Hazel Brown and Mr. Denniston Tibbetts will continue shortly.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice-cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, K-Man.
Green Turtle. Modern solutions to get you through the new normal. Download the Green Turtle app now and top up yours or a loved one's phone with any mobile carrier in any destination. Home delivery of laptops, tablets, phones, accessories, and iTunes and major online retailer gift cards. And now, home deliveries of groceries and courier service. Guaranteed delivery within 2 hours from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Visit their list of products at greenturtle.ky or download the Green Turtle app today. Green Turtle is not only the future of mobile, but today it can help save a life. Take a ride on the Green Turtle Express today. Download the Green Turtle app, the future of mobile, saving lives today.
Whether you're finishing a new condo, upgrading your rental property, or simply renovating, make Roper's Enterprises your first stop. Quality furniture at a fraction of the price. Find everything for your home and kitchen at low prices. Roper's, your neighborhood store. Value, integrity. Roper's Enterprises, 122 Industrial Way. Your home deserves a quality finish. Visit their showroom or shop online at ropers.ky. Ropers, providing products and services for better public health.
It's Cayman Style Fridays at Coral Beach. This Friday, catch their brand new lunch and dinner specials with your favorite Cayman Style dishes, cooked by Caymanian chef Nicholas McField. This week, try his curry chicken, Cayman Style lobster, turtle stew, oxtail, or fried barracuda and fritters. Available for dine-in and takeout. Pre-orders recommended via orders at coralbeach.ky, bento, and let's eat. Catch Cayman Style Fridays at Coral Beach this Friday from 11 a.m.
For the Record with Ort Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matters. For the Record with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, Dr. Hazel Brown and Mr. Denniston Tibbetts. One of our listeners has written in and said, good morning. I turned 60 last October. I've been thinking, decided after listening to your show, may I go to the airport tomorrow?
Yes.
I keep hearing over 60. Am I eligible?
Yes, 60 and above. I'm sorry, that's my bad. That's what I should be saying. Okay. 60 and over, and 16 to 59 is the other group.
And I'm going to reply to that email as well and make sure that just in case they're no longer listening, that they get the response. We do have a caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Morning.
Good morning.
Morning. I know you got me today.
You've been a stranger all week?
Look at no phone, boy, and sister-in-laws.
Oh.
No holidays for you either.
Good morning, Mr. President. Good morning to everybody.
Good morning.
Morning.
May I speak to the health professional and say this? This is what bothers me about the whole COVID thing. Big Pharma, for about the last 7 years or so, has been the Scrooge of the world. Maybe, I don't know, not necessarily the true story, but, the world looks at them like we can't trust you. And then all of a sudden, Big Pharma is front and center again. We can't get rid of that bitter taste overnight. And Mr. Anand, your first, I think, read out this morning about the person inquiring about this, that, and the next, about, what to tell and, about truth and honesty, etc. I think we need a lot of that to overcome. We need the media, and I don't like to beat up on the media. I would like to be a part of the media. But, media, social media, traditional media, or whatever, that's where we get our information from. And they have been having reports for many, many years about Big Pharma. So, it leaves a bad taste at least in your mouth. And we always say that we are our best advocates. Ask questions. That's what we're doing. And this question just seems to be more serious than many other questions. And it has proven so over hundreds of thousands of deaths, millions, they say. So I just wanted to get that little part over and just say, when I have to return.
Okay.
I was going to talk to you, but I'm not about that.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Have a great weekend. One of our listeners has written in and said, in 1917, the influenza took many lives. Thus came about the flu shot, which was done with speed to save the world's population. Really, no cure has been found to rid the flu. That vaccine saved many lives. This COVID-19 vaccine has come about just the same way, to save the world's population. Therefore, people should remember this and have the vaccine to help rid this awful pandemic.
I'd like to say, first of all, to the first caller, the issues of big pharma are very real in the economy of healthcare, and has really and truly created a lot of this angst. But I do believe that in this particular situation, big pharma has stepped up a little bit more, and have contributed to the development of vaccine. If we think about it, big pharma makes no money if everybody dies. So it serves them well to keep people alive, and that's just me kidding. But the reality is that they have stepped up, and the vaccine, even though it's probably still patented, and after the patent runs out is usually when the generics can be made and whatnot. That's just a general rule in the pharmaceutical world. But in this case, I think the vaccine has come out at a very, very reasonable cost. The big pharma has responded. I believe all of the companies are involved in the development of the vaccine. We have to understand, though, that a lot of the research around viruses and stuff is coming out of national public health labs across the globe, and virologists have been watching coronaviruses now for decades, just learning more and more about them. We hear a lot of conversations about Bill Gates and the speech that he made on I think it might have been on a TED Talk that he made, where they say he predicted this. Of course you can predict it, because they've been watching the development and the emergence of new infections and viral infections, viruses and that sort of thing over decades. So yes, we could predict that something was going to happen. We just couldn't say when, and virologists could not say when. But a lot of the early work on the identification of the virus and all that sort of thing happened in public health labs, which then informed big pharma, and they could get on board in the development of the vaccine. So I'd like for us to put that kind of concern to rest. What was the other person asking?
This person just pointed out the fact that the vaccine in 1917, the flu shot was developed, at a fast rate to,
And we have to understand technology has contributed so much to the rapid development and deployment of this vaccine. We're set in an era now that is unprecedented. When we were developing, when they were developing, Jonas Salks was researching and developing the polio vaccine. There was no internet for him to share his findings. It took him years and years for him to be able to get out his information. The same thing when Fleming was talking about penicillin, it took him a long time to get that drug out, and it saved millions of lives. If we think back to outbreaks here in Cayman in the 50s was when I think we saw the last polio outbreak, and we haven't had a case of polio or acute flaccid paralysis in Cayman for about 70 years.
Wow.
And that's due to vaccine, because once we got the polio vaccine, we could bring it out. I don't know of us ever having a case of smallpox in Cayman. That's because of vaccine. we're not seeing much now. I was speaking to someone recently when we talk about the schools. We don't see measles, mumps, rubella. If we get one single case, that's an outbreak in Cayman, because Cayman was declared measles free, probably about 10, 12 years ago. We don't have measles here anymore, but one case would be an outbreak. And all of that is due to the success of vaccine.
Yes.
If I could just... Sure. This has nothing to do with vaccine, but we're talking about the progress and the evolution of all of the things that are now available to people. I related to something in my world. Years ago, when my dad was a sea captain, he used a sextant. Nowadays, everybody has GPS. So it's kind of relevant,
Right. I keep talking about something as straightforward as common to us today as diabetes. When I was in training, oh Lord, how long ago? I've been 45 years ago. We were boiling urine and adding a solution, we call Benedict solution, to see whether or not somebody had sugar in their urine. That is so old. I mean, nowadays people don't even know about it. They laugh at me when I talk about it. And it progressed. I've watched that progress, and that's been phenomenal to me to watch the difference. And now you have embedded monitors that you just read to tell you what your blood sugar is. Yeah. That's how far technology has come. And those are the kinds of things that are affecting the rapid deployment of this vaccine.
Okay, let's talk about something that may be a little bit controversial, but we've been seeing reports now and persons expressing views in relation to non-residents being able to get the vaccine. I would have thought that based on the infrequency of flights in the Cayman Islands, the limitation on flights to the Cayman Islands, that we really don't have that many visitors, that many tourists on island. And those who are on island, if you're using a driver's license, I don't know if work issues identification card like we used to in the past, but if you hold a Cayman Islands passport, I don't think that you're allowed to get a driver's license unless you're a resident in the Cayman Islands. So that a passport, a voter registration card, all of those things would be sufficient evidence to show that you're resident here. But if it is in fact the case that non-residents are trying to get the vaccine, then some of them are actually putting a better foot forward than some of our Caymanians are.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think they're few and far apart, but if they do, like you say, they're definitely doing it much faster and much more reasonable than our fellow Caymanians.
Yes.
Yeah. Reasonable might be a stretch, but what I want to say is that SARS-CoV-2 doesn't check on anybody's passport, and anybody who's on island here who becomes infected becomes a threat to all of us. While I do believe that we need to protect our people, the greatest problem for me has been our local people reluctance to take the vaccine, because if you show up, you're going to get a vaccine. And it's one of the things that's really struck me on the social media conversation, this whole issue of expats getting the vaccine and Caymanians can't get it, but any Caymanian who shows up has been allowed to get the vaccine provided that you meet the criteria.
Yes,
And the thing is that once you are resident here, I accept that you're a part of the population, and if you are positive, you become a threat to all of us. So now, how would we check that persons are Caymanian or not? I really and truly don't have that level of skill. That would be your people's skill, an immigration thing. They would know what they're looking for. I wouldn't even know what I'm looking for if I was trying to figure out is this person.
But I don't think that is a criteria to get the vaccine.
Well, based on the press release yesterday, the press briefing yesterday, there is some move to ensure that persons who get in the vaccine will be legally and ordinarily resident on the islands. Now, I assume that there's going to be some mechanism put in place to verify that, but that would not be something coming out of health. because, like I said, we wouldn't have that level of insight or skill.
As a matter of fact, it may be easier to do it the other way around. Immigration should have the records of all those persons who are visitors to the island. So provide you the list of all of the visitors, and if the person's name shows up on that visitor's list, then that's it, because the visitors list will be much smaller than the persons who are legally and ordinarily resident in the Cayman Islands. We have a caller. We're going to take our last commercial break. We will take that caller as soon as we return. Folks, please stay. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
Did you know the third most important factor for customer retention is cleanliness? With 95% of shoppers saying exterior appliance influences where they decide to shop. Keep your business clean with Roper's Janitorial. From offices to restaurants, interior and exterior, walls to rugs and flooring. Roper's cleans it all, including 24-hour emergency service. Roper's Janitorial, 949-2511, or email janitorial@ropers.ky. Dress your business for success. With Roper's Janitorial, we make your business shine. 949-2511. Roper's, providing products and services for better public health.
Honey, our fridge has stopped working again. Everything in the freezer is melting. We need to get this repaired right away. I'm calling Brand Source Service.
When you need the very best appliance service, call Brand Source Service at 623-5000. Offering service and installation of all brands and models of appliances. Brand Source Service is Cayman's source for appliance parts and repairs, with qualified and experienced technicians and the island's largest stock of appliance parts. Brand Source Service will have your repair completed in a flash. So, whatever the problem is, call the experts at 623-5000. Brand Source Service, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park. Telephone 623-5000.
Cayman Arts Festival is back. The 2021 festival features Cayman's artistic performers, including soprano Georgina Gatto, on Saturday, February 6, 7 p.m. at the Westin Hotel Ballroom. The wonderfully talented Miss Gatto is known for her extraordinary breadth of musical repertoire ranging from classical to contemporary, from European to American, and from bel canto to Broadway. See Miss Gatto live in concert with Cayman Arts Festival, Saturday, February 6, 7 p.m. Tickets are available at www.caymanartsfestival.com. For more information, call 922-5550 or email inquiries at caymanartsfestival.com. The Cayman Arts Festival 2021 is proudly sponsored by Butterfield Bank, Walkers, RBC Dominion Securities, Andrew Galloway, Radio Cayman, Minister for Education, Youth, Sports, Agriculture and Lands, Rawlinson and Hunter, London and Amsterdam Trust, Sinclair's, Kensington, and the Cayman Islands Public Library Service.
You still run rings around your kids or grandkids. You can show the young people a thing or two. You wouldn't say you're old just yet. You may not think you're vulnerable to COVID-19, but you are. High-risk individuals with COVID can get long-term damage, including lung damage, brain fog, and loss of smell. In some cases, they may die. People age over 60 are strongly encouraged to get vaccinated for yourself, your family, and the community to keep yourself healthy and feeling young. For information on how priority individuals can get vaccinated, visit hsa.ky.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matters. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, Dr. Hazel Brown, and the chairman of the Cayman Islands Seafarers Association, president of the Cayman Islands Seafarers Association, Mr. Denniston Tibbetts. We have one caller. I think, Paul, what we will do, we will make this the last call so that my panelists can have an opportunity to wrap up and give some final comments and additional details if necessary as well. So, caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, OC, and good morning, Dr. Brown, and good morning, Mr. Tibbetts.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I was going to call you Dr. Tibbetts too, but I changed my mind. Anyway.
I don't think I'll ever be called that.
Dr. Brown, I thank you. I thank you from the bottom of my heart. You're one in a million. You're one in a million.
Well, thank
you. I can see her head getting bigger.
I seen what you done down here to the West Bay Clinic, which I am at the West Bay Clinic right now. It was a crowd of people, and I came back in about an hour or so, and the crowd had, wasn't a crowd anymore. It was just a few people getting the vaccine. But really what I'm calling about, I was afraid to get my first shot too. The reason of that, I had my left kidney removed just a few years ago and my adrenal gland. So I called my doctor, Dr. Sandeep at Health City, and he says, Rhonda, you haven't gone to get that yet. Please do. Please do. And I went to get my first shot at the airport, and I must congratulate all of the HSA staff, all of the people that were there helping. It went like clockwork. They have good manners. I never heard anybody complaining. And I wish that I could have gotten the second shot the very next day, but I know I know what it is now. So there's so many people that haven't even gotten the first shot, and they're reluctant to do so. Now, are we going to do the first shot in the different clinics again, or are they all going to be done at the airport? Do you know that, Dr. Brown?
Yes. Actually, I'm looking at the schedule for next week, and at the very top of the schedule, it says if you're 60, it says 60 plus, but it's really 60 years and older, you may get dose 1 at any of the published vaccination clinic times or any of the sites. So if someone has not had dose 1, you're 60 years or older, show up to any of the sites, even though it says dose 2, because we want to encourage the 60 and older population to come out and get their vaccine. So next week on Monday, we're going to be at Bontown Clinic from 9 to 12. We're going to be, next week is a kind of a short week because we're doing dose 2 all the way through, and it was a lighter week. This week has been a very, very difficult week because this was like the second dose for the first set of persons, which were very, very large groups, up to 900 doses per day. Next week is going to be a shorter week. It gives us time to catch up on some of the back end work that we need to do, and also that I don't wear out all of my staff. So on Monday we're doing 9 to 12, also at the airport, and that's dose 2. But again, if someone is 60 or over, by all means come. On Tuesday, we're going to be again at the airport from 9 to 2. And on Wednesday, we're going to be in Northside and at the airport, 9 to 12 in Northside, 9 to 2 at the airport. On Thursday, we're going to be in West Bay again, 9 to 12, and again at the airport, 9 to 12. On Friday, we're going to be in East End again, 9 to 12, and at the airport, 9 to 12. This schedule is posted on the Health Services Authority website, and if there are any questions at all, people can feel free to reach out to the flu hotline or to reach out to myself. Now, next week, Saturday, we're not having a clinic, and the following week, we will continue with stage 2, first and I think second doses. So the following week there's a public holiday. We won't be immunizing on that public holiday, so the 18th is going to be limited to dose 2. it's going to be a huge day for the Public Health Service to try to get 2 days worth of second doses done in 1 day. But that's our schedule for next week. And as the thing that we really want to stress is if you are 60 years of old and older and have not had your first dose of the vaccine, show up at any site and you won't be turned away.
Oh, thank you. And another concern, and then I'm going to let you go. But OC,
Sure.
would you ask Dr. Brown and Dr. Lee again to be on your show or on Radio Cayman, because that is alone is a comfort to know that you have someone to talk to, and without reading it in the paper or a website or something. And then a next question is, a concern of mine is the mental people. We have so many in West Bay, and I don't know if they're getting this vaccine. I don't know.
Well, the situation with the mental health clients is pretty much the same as it is with the elderly. We have to get consent forms. And that's been our difficulty, to find someone who is compos mentis and who has the legal responsibility for these people to complete their consent forms. So if you know of someone who needs to get the vaccine and who may not be able to sign for themselves, by all means encourage whoever their next of kin is to reach out to us. And we definitely need to get our mental health clients immunized as well. They're a part of our vulnerable group.
Yes, ma'am. I appreciate it. And I also admire your son, which I got confused a couple of weeks ago. I went and asked for Dr. Brown, and the nurse looked at me. She said, which one?
There are plenty of us, plenty Browns.
Okay. I thank you very much. And I do have a mental cousin, and I'll see that she gets her vaccine as well.
By all means, and I'm sure she'll be very cooperative. You can bring her to the airport if you wish.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much, caller.
Thank you.
Yeah. Dr. Brown, do we have a date for the second dose for North Side? Or can a person go anywhere for the second dose as well? They can go anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have a specific date for North Side? I think someone off.
Well, they have to show the card for the first one.
Yeah, they have to bring the card.
Yeah.
North Side is next week, Wednesday, for dose 2.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the whole everybody.
Yeah.
And of course, like I said, if persons haven't had their first dose, they're welcome to come over 60s, 60 and over.
Okay, excellent. Okay, time for some closing comments. Starting with you, Mr. Tibbetts. Anything you want to say to our audience out there, including our seafarers?
Well, I'd just like to thank you, and it bothers me that I was late. I'm not normally late.
That's been troubling you
that has been my modus operandi for years, to being early. But I blame myself. But I thank you for and Dr. Brown and Dr. Lee for asking me on. And I'm appealing to my seafaring brothers and sisters. Please come out and get your vaccination. Please, because it's very important, especially for people over 60 and over. And even if there's a slight reaction, it's normally very mild, and within 24 hours it's gone. So there's nothing really to worry about. Your head not going to turn into a donkey and all those stupidness that I see.
Yes.
So please come out, get your vaccination. The schedule was read to you. You can get it on the website from the Health Services Authority. And I have a whole list of little things that might occur, but they're all mild. So please come. And once again, thank you so much, for both of you, so much for having me here.
Okay, Dr. Brown?
Well, Mr. O.C., thank you so much for allowing us on, and thanks again to Arden for giving up his space.
Yes.
And also for supporting the vaccine program, for coming out and getting his vaccines. I just want to encourage anyone, if you have any questions, reach out to us, call us, send an email, reach out, call the flu hotline. Just have your questions answered so that you're making an informed decision when you decide not to take this vaccine. Consider that you're not only doing this for yourself, but you're doing it for your children, your grandchildren, your grandparents, your cousins, someone else in your environment who may be vulnerable. Any group out there that wishes to have public health come in and talk to them, reach out to myself, Dr. Lee. We are very, very happy, and other persons as well who are willing to come out and talk to community groups. We really want to get this message out there to make sure that our population is as well informed as they can be, and that the decision that you're making is an informed decision. Thank you all very much.
And we're fortunate that we're one of the few jurisdictions who continue to have an ample supply of the vaccine.
Absolutely.
Not many jurisdictions find themselves in that position. We need to, take advantage of that.
Yep, we do. And we are not wasting any vaccine. I will put that out there. If we get at the end of the day, and that is a rare thing because we only mix what we want, what we need to use on any particular day. But on the odd occasion that there might be one dose or 2 doses left, we are finding people. We go on the highways and the byways and find people and immunize because we are not wasting any of this vaccine.
And it's free.
Excellent.
And it is free. It absolutely is.
Well, I want to thank both of you for being here, and I'm sure that your voices have lent a lot of support to the vaccine program and also given reassurances to those persons who may exhibit some hesitancy in taking the vaccine as well. Folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman and by extension For the Record into your homes, into your vehicles as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands into your places of work, wherever that may be. I also want to remind you that we are brothers and sisters keepers. There is always someone out there who's less fortunate than we are, and I ask you to extend a helping hand to them. If you can't do that, then I suggest you donate to a worthy charity, because we always want to consider those who need, not necessarily those who want or even those who crave. So I say to you, have a great day. Continue to support your radio station, Radio Cayman. Join Sterling Dwayne Banks at 12:15 for Talk Today. And as usual, we ask the good Lord to bless these 3 beautiful, wonderful Cayman Islands.
For the Record is brought to you by Vamped Motors, the only authorized Ford and Toyota dealership serving the Cayman Islands. Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga Distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury.
Also brought to you by Ropers Enterprises, 122 Industrial Way. Products and services for better public health. Green Turtle. Take a ride on the Green Turtle Express today. Download the Green Turtle app, the future of mobile, saving lives today. The Ministry of Commerce.